She Engine team, I think it's a great initiative in terms of hosting this series of webinar that you guys are doing. I think a big round of applause for all of you. Murli, Samir, Ankita, I think the whole team deserves a big clap because I think in this time it's so important that we keep ourselves updated. We keep learning every day. So I think I have been actually going through all the webinars that She Engine has been hosting. So I think it's great that She Engine has given me this opportunity to host this webinar. The slide is up, and you know that it's very much showing that I'm talking about career planning for women today. And as Ankita rightly mentioned, that I'll be talking about how do we actually plan our career, and that is very specific to women here. And I would say that yes, definitely for all the men who have joined, it's very common in most of the stages, and there's nothing that they can't take away from here. There's a lot of take away from them as well, but it's just that I'm going to emphasize some of the phases where actually it becomes imperative for women to do a little more than what men do. So nothing to feel sad for most of the men who have joined here. So don't let your career just happen. This is one of the phases I wanted to pick up as the objective of this whole session. uh, See, most of the time what happens is our career just happens, and the whole objective of this webinar is don't let it just happen. Please plan your career, and it's never too late. So if you're thinking that, hey, I'm already 4 years experienced, I'm already 10 years experienced, it's never too late. Let's pick up something from this session and start to understand where we can stop and plan a little better and go ahead. So don't don't ever think that is for you the career has just happened. It's always a time right now as well to think, to stop, think, and plan a little more better. Okay, so who am I? I thank Ankita. She gave away. I think she went all around to give my introduction. So I'm just going to pick up a little things about myself. So I come with 15 years of industry experience and specific to talent acquisition, and so a little about my career progression. I started my career with Deutsche Bank and spent 2 years of learning and fun-filled years there. Before moving to, and there I worked as a financial analyst. And After 2 years with them, I moved to Randstad, erstwhile Muffer. 4 years with Randstad, and I learned the nuances of recruitment, account management, and people management. So that was a big shift for me from moving from finance to talent acquisition, and I'll talk about it in my following slides. But as of now, so that's where I made a move in terms of the kind of role that I played in Deutsche Bank to Muffer. And then I had two good years with GI Group, an Italian consulting company. I think the major accomplishments there were managing huge teams as large as 20 members in different cities across India. So I think, and account management, I managed large accounts for GI, and with larger teams spread across India. So that was a major accomplishment with GI Group. I joined ATRA in 2013, and with them it has been a great journey. It's been 7 years, and every day has been a learning. Um, uh, I have been able to create winning teams, had top talent across the globe, uh, has been a change leader in terms of how we did recruitment in ATRA, in terms of candidate experience, employer branding, bringing in agile recruitment, bringing in right now we are working in terms of bringing in automation and tooling to recruitment. So these are the change factors that brought in terms of in ATRA. So ATRA has been a great journey and continues. So that's about me. I'm a mother of a 10-year-old, married to a marketeer by profession and traveler by passion. So that's about me. So I have a poll here for all of you. So Ankita, how do you want to run this? Should people write their answers on the chat box? Okay, so I give you a minute here, and the question here is, what were the factors guiding you towards your first career choice? So what were it, friends, parents, immediate family, college, or your choices and aspirations? You can write your answers in the chat box. Okay, so have people picked up this poll?
Yes, Ranjana, a lot of people actually written.
Okay, so this poll, I have put this poll a question because most of the time what happens is we get influenced. We get influenced by our college TPOs. We get influenced by our friends, family, our extended family, and there is nothing wrong in it. But what happens is we fail to acknowledge our choices, our dreams there. So it's so important that we realize our dreams and aspirations at that point of time. So that is something which is so important to pick it up. Nevertheless, if you missed at that point of time, we'll try and see how we can actually cope up in a career later. So 3 mantras. So I have actually divided the career into 4 phases. And the first phase is passing out of a college. So 3 mantras while passing out of college. Okay, so know your dreams and aspirations, be prepared, have a role model. These 3 pointers have been defined by me after my experiences. After my experience into a lot of universities and campus, which I've visited in the last couple of years, and for recruitment. So what happens is when I meet this very young kids there, what is that is missing is they're unaware of their own dreams and aspirations. They don't know what they actually want to do. They are they've not made a note of what is that they really want to achieve in life. So I think that is the biggest miss that we do at that point of time in our career, knowing our own dreams and aspirations. Second one is being prepared. So it's a huge jump in terms of moving from campus to corporate. So there's a huge leap happening from campus to corporate, and most of us are so unprepared. We don't know what is life going to be. Is it going to be a change in country? Is it going to be a change in city? Or what is the kind of life that we are going to see? Are we going to stay all by ourselves? We have been always been with our parents. So are we going to miss our school friends, our college friends, and have a totally new sets of corporate friends? So those are the things. Preparedness at the level of interviews. So some of the people that I meet, or some of the kids that I meet, are so unprepared for interviews. They have just come for interview because their friends have come there. So that is the extent of being unprepared. Being not aware of what they actually want to do in life, and you meet such smart kids and you will ask them, why are you not prepared for this interview? And they'll be like, yeah, because this is not something which I wanted to do, but then all my friends are doing this, so I thought, okay, I think this is the smartest thing to do, so I just came up here. So this is what I hear from some of them, and that makes me really feel bad, because that's something which we really don't want to do for ourselves, right? uh, Last but not the least here is to have a role model. So again, when we are coming out of campus and getting into a corporate role, or even if we are getting into a higher study, it's very important that we have a role model. for yourself, because till then we have been with our friends, we have seen them, and there has been somebody who has been really topping your class or has been really good with extracurricular activities, and you have followed that person, and you have thought that someday I'll be like this. But here is a point where you actually have to look outside the world and find out who can be your role model. It can be as it can be your manager, your direct reporting manager. um some of the times, or most of the times, you don't like your reporting managers, and that's fine. So you can have somebody in the organization whom you look up onto. It can be somebody in your friend. It can be somebody who is in your uh, in your community that you look up onto. So it can be anybody, but it's very important that you have a role model. You note down, or you find out what are the traits that you really want to follow this person for, and then start following up. Because, and this I'm giving from my own experience. So I actually, when I landed up, just to give you a small story, I was campus placed in Deutsche Bank from my MBA school. And when I was giving this interview, and this was a whole day interview for Deutsche Bank, I started from 9 in the morning, ended at around 9 in the night. I got my offer letter. And throughout the day, when I was there, I was seeing this lady who was like the VP there, and she was all over the place, conducting interviews, shortlisting people. And I was so fascinated the day one with her. And I remember her name. She was Aarti Ganeshan. She was VP at Deutsche Bank at that point of time. And I found her to be role model at the very first sight of her. I fell in love with her because she was so smart. And I always, and since then, the day one when I started my training there and joined them, I always used to try and have a glimpse in her cabin and see that what she's doing, because someday I wanted to have a cabin like her, walk with that kind of authority. So I think that helped me in terms of knowing where I want to be. So please have a role model, because otherwise you don't know where you want to be. So these are three mantras while you pass out of college. I always hear this from students or people around me saying that, even my cousins, they keep telling me that you talk about these phases or knowing about career planning, but we never get an opportunity to choose the job, but the job chooses us. But I feel that they surely can select the job. One can surely select the job which is close to your dreams. So make a choice there. I know it's not so easy to get a job of your choice, but make sure that you're choosing which is something very, very closer to your dreams. So that's about the first phase of coming out of the college. Okay, so now the story goes that after a few years, what happens? You come out of college, you get into your first job, and then you complete 3 years. So here I'm talking about somebody between 3 to 4 years of experience. Ideally, this is the time people start thinking that, hey, I spent like long time in this organization, I've spent a long time in this role, and what to do next. So it's time to step up. It's time to know what's next. So here, I think in this stage, it's important to know what you are good at and what you can be paid for. So here, you spend 3 years or 4 years in an organization. You've known the corporate life. You know how to work in a organization. You know the intricacies of working with leaders, managers. You know how to be in a team. So you understand teamwork. You understand what is in it for you in that organization, in that role. So you are aware of a lot of things which has, and you're no more a campus person. So you are aware of your surroundings right now, and you start to realize that, okay, this is the thing which I can do really nicely. This is the thing I'm really good at, and this is where I can make money for myself. So start understanding that and start getting into an area where you understand your passion. So and get driven by the passion. It's the passion which leads to excellence. So passion comes only when you understand what you're good at and what you love doing. You cannot have passion for something which you do not like doing. So it's the phase where you start understanding all these aspects of your job or career, that what you're doing, is it really making sense to you? So that's where I come back to my story of, I worked for Deutsche Bank as a financial analyst for the first 2 years in my career, and then move into recruitment and talent acquisition. So one of the things which happened is that there was the operations role which I did in Deutsche Bank, and I started, although I was enjoying, but I started feeling that I'm more of a people person. I'm more of somebody who can actually work as a front end person rather than doing a back end job. So I'm somebody who can actually be a very front end person in terms of leading talent, so or working along with people. So that is where I made a move from Deutsche Bank to Randstad. So that's very important, that you start thinking what you're good at, what you can be paid for again. So that is a move that you need to make at this point of time. So important that you realize what you're good at, start getting driven by passion, and least to say is learn, learn, learn. Okay. So that's it in this particular level in the career. Okay, so I have another quiz for you. How many of you have picked up a skill or a knowledge course during mid-level of your career? I have defined mid-level as something between 4 to 8 years or 4 to 7 years. So the options are: yes, did few internal trainings; second, yes, took up a paid external course; no, didn't get time for anything like this; or no, didn't find it right stage in the career to do it. Again, I give you a minute here. Please pick up this quiz and answer. So all of you have been able to register your responses?
Yeah, looks like most of them A and B.
Okay, that's a nice thing, because
Few of them D.
and there's nothing wrong or right here, guys, because this is how we are all actually moving through our careers. So there's nothing wrong or right here in this whole quiz. If you see, there's no wrong options and no minus marking.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So as we move along, I move to the next stage in the career, which I've defined as mid-level of family way. Why family way? I'll talk about it. So I've just tried to uh, actually resonate the professional and family life, personal life. So this is the time where I picked up experience of around 6 to 8 years or 6 to 9 years here. Somebody between 6 to 9 years. So what happens here, and that's for most of the women, is either we are in the phase where we're actually getting married, or we are in the family way. So this is the time to understand work-life balance. So understand how we are placed at our personal front. Very important, because what happens, and as the data suggests, most of the time, this is the phase where women drop out maximum in their career. So very important to understand how do you actually get into this thing of work-life balance. It's a difficult one, and I guess most of us have not been able ever been able to strike a balance. But I think what is achievable is getting near to that balance, or getting into a environment where we have been able to survive and grow. So that is one thing which we have to keep in mind. uh, Most of the women, and which I have been talking to, or which I have been able to see very closely, do not go back home and do a lot of talking, or explain or get asked for help. So it's important that we build up a good support system back home. It can be your parents, it can be your in-laws, it can be your spouse. So very important that you go back and tell them about your dreams, your aspiration. What is the kind of help you require? What is the kind of time that you require? And how can you excel in your professional life by getting those kind of help? So you have to ask for, have a good support system, and ask for those help back in your home. So ask for those help, be very proactive in getting those helps, and then you will be always ready to pick up opportunities in the professional life. So you will be more ready to say yes in the organization if you are um, better communicating back home. So be very upfront in terms of knowing your priorities, set up your priorities, understand. Also, it's at this phase when we take a break, women take a lot of women go and take a break at this point of time. It can be as 6 months to 2 years to 3 years. It is absolutely okay to take a break, and there is nothing but make sure that you are having a time frame when you are returning back to work. So it's imperative that you come back to work and you define those time frames when you want to come back to work. So this mid-level, I call it a family way level as well, because there is a lot of things which are happening in a woman's life at this point of time. The second thing which I want to dwell upon is moving from executional role to a strategic one, to show the top that you're ready to move up. It's so important here to do this, because I've seen women getting stuck in this particular level. What happens is, when we're doing something for 6-7 years, we get into a comfort zone. We start realizing that, hey, you know what, I'm really good with recruitment, and especially in recruitment, I'm really good with sourcing and coordination. So let me keep doing this, because this is where I excel. And they start getting into those comfortable zones, and they don't ever come out of it. So how do we actually come out of those executional roles and start adding value to ourselves, getting into strategic one? Because you also need to understand that you are in a level where you need to move up the ladder. What are you doing? What are you adding to yourself to get into that role of thinking very strategic? So this is imperative of being men or women. I think it's for everybody to understand that how do we actually start moving from executional role to a strategic role? What is that we are doing extra to get into that next level? So that is where we have to have a small stop for ourselves, think over, and realize that what we are doing, we are excelling in that. Should we keep continuing? Should we keep doing the same thing, or we need to do something more for ourselves? Again, important, learn. So that is, there is no change here. We have to keep learning, because again, at this level, we start realizing that, you know what, I'm 7 years of experience, I know everything. And this I can tell with a lot of stories which I have personally felt, where people come and tell me I have nothing more to learn, because I know everything about it. And that's where we actually make a stop for ourselves in terms of learning. So important is that we understand our gaps and keep learning. That's the mid-level or the family way for us. So it isn't that women are less ambitious, but women want to find balance between work, love, and family. That's where we always stuck it, isn't we? Okay. So the next level or the final level that I'm going to talk about here in this session is senior and gunning for the top. How do we actually, so when I say senior, it's somewhere between 10 to 12 or 13 years of experience, and we are eyeing that top management layer, and we are eyeing those executive positions in organization. I'm talking about family. When I talked about women taking breaks, so happens that some of them actually take breaks for 2 years or 3 years. How do we make sure that we are relevant? We keep ourselves relevant. Important. We understand. Can we pick up something like a freelancing, or can we do something which is we are spending around 2 to 3 hours in a day? So freelancing, or do we do some online courses for ourselves, or do we enroll for some classroom training for ourselves? So how do we keep ourselves relevant to the industry? How we keep ourselves updated and avoid redundancy is so important when getting up into this particular stage in our career. So next one, develop people, be a mentor. Especially this is very particular to women, because I feel that when women get into a certain leadership role, it is very important for them to start acting as a mentor, because not many women who reach up that layer, and we have to start thinking for women who are at a mid level, or who are coming out of the campus. Are they getting enough are they getting enough guidelines? Are they getting enough uh, uh, are you able to share those experiences to them? So it's very important that we start developing people and be a mentor. At this stage also, it's so important that we read a lot, we learn a lot. And I think Sheen Jin is doing a great job in terms of organizing these webinars. So how do we actually make sure that we read, we learn through these webinars, seminars? So keep reading, keep learning. That's the stages that I wanted to talk about. Also, the last and very important thing here for women, exclusive here, is building a personal brand. Things that women shy away so much, and I have personally seen where women actually so shy in telling that, I have made this achievement in life, I have achieved this professionally, and they shy away. They completely don't want to acknowledge, they don't want to promote themselves. But I feel it's so important that we build up our own personal brand, and we self promote. There is no shying away, and there is no backing out here, because this is how you actually also developing a lot of women behind you. You have to mentor them, you have to stand as a role model for them, and hence it is important that we build up that personal brand. We work towards those self promotion, and there is nothing that we can't achieve in doing it, and whatever we are achieving, we talk about it. So important again, build your own personal brand. Okay, so that was the 4 stages that I wanted to cover up in this career planning career planning session. To summarize this whole thing, I have 5 things that we must do at each stage, and again, this is irrespective of men or women. Uh,
Oh, guys, just hold on. I think she looks like dropped off. Just hold for a couple of minutes. I think I'll ask her to join us again.
Just give me a second. I'll share the presentation.